everybody. Happy, what are we, Thursday? Happy Thursday. So it's 11 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and move because I want to give Dinah as much time as we possibly can so that she can get into her material. So welcome everybody to our team meeting. And like we always start, we're going to start with our bucket fills and mission moments. Tell me something good. What's going on? I know some good things coming up, but I want to hear some things from you. Give me some. Yourself, somebody else. Tell me, Terrence.
I had a great thing happen yesterday on my largest listing, and it was about to just go off a cliff.
Okay.
And then we made it back on target, and we are through the inspection now, and we are headed to close.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's go.
So for me, it's going to be my biggest. It's going to be 1.345 million.
Hey, the million. Let's go.
And my other listing, we just cleared inspections too, which is Lake House and Light Lake. So this, I'm feeling good.
Here's what this is setting the pace for the year.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's go. 2026 is going to be it. Let's do it. All right, good. Terrence, yes, ma'am. Ashley.
I have 4 listings starting off this year. Yes, one is $1.5 million office exclusive, and that's the most I've ever done.
That is awesome.
Another one over 9. So I'm.
Did you say over 9? Okay.
And and then a 740 that should be under contract today.
Yes.
And one that's in the 4s. So
Love it.
I'm just
Great
hoping
price
to
point.
start the year off with a bang.
Yay. We're going to do it. Let's do it right.
Graduated luxury status.
Yeah.
So I feel like I started the year off right because on the 31st I got something under contract, and on the 1st I got something under contract. Got a closing this week, got a closing next week, and a closing the week after that. So.
Yes. Yes. Good job. Well done. Well done. That's what I love to hear that. Great stories. I thought I had good stuff. Yeah.
Hi, so fingers crossed, I'm closing on my very first transaction.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And that just gets the ball rolling.
Yes.
Right? That's how we start. You gotta start with one.
Well, and I'm going to brag on you for a minute.
Do it.
Because this was, so she got the listing by picking up the phone and calling her Sphere.
Yep.
So that's where it came from. It has not been the smoothest transition or transaction for a lot of reasons, and Rebecca has kept her cool, asked the right questions at the right time, and kept everybody from jumping off a cliff. So well
thank
done.
you, I
There you
appreciate
go.
that.
Way to keep
You're
it
already
together.
in. Yes.
All right. Don't want to leave anyone out. Moving right along. Let's go. Excellent. All right. So, as you all should definitely know, we do have Event Mastery VIP edition going on with Michael Mayer. Show of hands. Who's been participating? Who's been in?
Half and half.
We've been pretty well represented. I've seen us some in-house, some on Zoom. That's fine as well. Guys, this is great. It's an amazing way to generate leads organically. I know people are always looking for where their next transaction is going to come from. Well, this is a great place to start. So if you've not been on there, I encourage you to jump on or come here in person. It's every Tuesday and Friday. Michael's great. He's funny. But basically, we're going over events, right? He's teaching us how to simplify the process, have these events with little to no cost out of our own pocket, and generate those leads, build those relationships that are going to attract the right people and provide those referrals for us. Keep them going, lifelong referrals. Okay?
Mike, do we have a market center event for first quarter scheduled?
We don't have one scheduled yet. We have ALC retreat coming up next week, so we'll be discussing events. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, but good point. So this is generating our own or creating our own events, but keep in mind, as a market center, we are doing quarterly events as well for our agents. I was going to try and see if it worked. Okay. Today at 1 o'clock. So if you didn't see the email or didn't see my video, it was on Facebook last night. Obviously, we have team meeting right now. Dinah's going to take over shortly. Immediately following team meeting at 12 o'clock, Mr. Michael Heidorn is here, and he's going to be jumping into EBVAs, talking about the buyer's disclosure, and basically any other questions that you might have that you want to kind of bring to him. Appreciate that, Mike. And then at 1 o'clock, we have Dawn. Dawn is coming in from Rock Solid Inspections, and she's going to be talking about why good homes are getting rejected, talking about 4-point inspections, talking about some of the changes that have happened with it, Citizens Insurance back in 25, and basically just kind of keeping you on track with what's going on, not letting these inspections or 4 points kill you, and kill you, but kill your transactions. Good stuff. Dawn always never disappoints. So definitely, if you could stay for that at 1 o'clock, that would be awesome. All right, Elevate 2026 we have coming up. It's a bilingual agent event. It's going to be on the 22nd. That is next Thursday, right? Next Thursday from 9 to 4. It's at the Cuban Club in Ybor. Very limited, I would say, as far as space, right? You know?
I'm not exactly sure on the head count there. I would guess that probably about 100 people max is typically
Like 1/3.
130. So 130, and this is broker agnostic, which means it's open to any brokerage, not just Keller Williams agents, which makes that a very small limited head count. So very high demand.
Yeah, just a great opportunity to come together with top producers in the area. Like she said, brand agnostic. Don't care where they're from. Doesn't have to be KW. Just about coming together, talking about skills, strategies, what's working, what's not, you know, and usable tools that we can bring back and use immediately. Milady, since you are here, is there anything else you'd like to share about the event?
I mean, it's going to be a great event. This is our first mastermind, so we are expecting people from Miami, different places. So if you know anybody that is bilingual, fluent in Spanish, this will be a great event to invite them. I can share the link for registration if someone needs it.
That'd be perfect. Milady Apple. Okay, thanks, Milady. We have family reunion coming up. It is just around the corner. We'll be here before we know it. It is in Atlanta this year, February 21st through the 24th. Anyone signed up for family reunion? Anyone registered yet? Okay, all right. Something to think about. Not sure what the cost of registration is now. I know it does gradually increase as we get closer to the event, so something to think about. Another thing, I know a lot of people will look online, Facebook groups, etc. Sometimes people will sell their tickets. It's not a bad idea, but I do caution everybody, please make sure we have heard that there have been scams out there, and I don't want that to happen. Not ours or anyone else's. So, yeah, something to think about or get registered, but you can see it's a killer lineup. We've got the summit. We've got Social Media Con, that's going to be with Gary B. and Ryan Leak. Really excited about that. Gary Keller will always do his state of the industry, if you will. What else? Inspirational Morning, and then we've got Jay Shetty as well. That's going to be on Tuesday. So keynote's going to be great. I'm really excited about this lineup, and I think everyone else is. I can't compare it to a whole lot. I went to family reunion last year in Vegas, which was fantastic. So that's really my only point of reference, but really excited about this and seeing what's happening and seeing hotels selling out and things like that. It's going to be a good year for attendance for sure. Okay, so let's talk about some recognition, right? So top individuals for the month of December. Ooh, those are hard for me to see. I'm going to see. So you can see top individuals. Any of you, if you're in the room, please stand up so we can recognize. Yes? Even if you're not there on Zoom, welcome. All right. Okay. Going to top groups, top teams, and then our top expansion team, which is out of Fort Myers. That's Jack there. Again, any folks that are in here from any of those groups or teams, please stand. Okay, anyone on Zoom, we're going to give them a round of applause. Okay, closed volume. So closed volume for December. Congratulations to individual. It's going to be Alex Lukey at 4 million. Well done. Closed volume for top team is going to be the Wasserberg McGrill group with just shy of 2 million. And top group for December, the Rutherford group with 4.75 million. Well done. I'm sorry. Congratulations to these individuals for closed units. Individual Jennifer Hernandez, I believe, is out of town in Osmari with 5 units for the month. That's an excellent month. Wasserberger McGrill and Melissa DiMaria team with 3 units for the month. And top group goes to Rutherford group with 12 units for the month of December. Awesome. All right. Oh, here's my good stuff. So December cappers, we got Jared, Anna, Alex, and Milady. Milady is here. Congratulations on Gabby. Nice. Well done. Wow. That's the way we do it. Yeah. And I know he's here. Big Frank. Come on, get up, Frank. Frank graduated from coaching. He's done. He's off into the world and he's rolling. Frank, I've got a gentleman I'm going to introduce you to that's going to be coming on board. I think you guys are going to be good friends. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Okay, without further ado, we are going to discuss selling new construction. We're going to break it down. Dinah has told me that this is a pretty lengthy presentation, but she's kind of condensed it a little bit, but we're not going to water it down. Dinah, come on up. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you. I'm really excited about new construction because the first house I bought was a new construction, and a week later I became a realtor because I found out all the things you can learn about new construction. My sisters have been realtors for a while. My sister was 18, has been doing it for 20 years. And then I have a brother who's been doing it for 10 years. And then my brother-in-law and sister have been doing it for a while. And then my baby sister who's a lawyer. So we all love to talk about real estate. Okay, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Please ask questions. I think the best way to learn about new construction is to ask questions. The first thing is make sure you have this, either screenshot it, because you need this as part of the contract. Oh, okay.
I thought Jen was doing that from a distance.
Okay, no, okay. So you need these things because when you write your contract, they're gonna ask you those things. The copy of the W9 form, I believe is on our Google sheet, right, Mike?
The information at the top of your slide, the NAID, broker license number, that's always at the top of the roster. And then our W-9 you can always find in the files of the KWTC agents and staff group.
Yes, so make sure you have a copy tucked to the side. Your EBBA, so make sure you have that. If you don't have it, you're not getting paid. So make sure it is the EBBA TN transaction, okay? And when you do your buyer agreement, put down new construction also. So you're gonna do Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, new construction, okay? And then in additional terms, if you're like, you know, some deal hoardings do like 4% if it's a special house, or an extra 1%, put in special terms, Lennar, the percentage. Deal hoarding reward programs, 4%. Right now they're offering 4% in the month of January. So put that in additional terms right there. So you don't have to make another EBBA to increase your commission. Go ahead.
Lennar is or DR Horton?
DR Horton, yes. And some builders are doing special promotions on the quick move-ins. So before the contract is ready, if you know that is the term, you can do the amendment to the EBBA saying this particular house is offering a $5,000 bonus. Okay, before the contract is ready. Does everyone understand? Yes.
So you're saying on the EBBA, it's gotta be the transaction, not single agent?
Okay, I talked to Ari about this. Call Ari for case-by-case basis, but for this class, I'm gonna do transaction, okay? Because you never know if you're gonna go show a resale home. But if you're like, you know what, I'm not sure, call Ari. I put her phone number here. Because I asked her specifically exactly that question, because I've gone back and forth, but I'm gonna say transaction.
For any that might not be clear on who that is, Ari is the director of our compliance or transaction protection department.
Yeah, so call Ari, Ashley, and Michelle if it's like, you know what, I'm not sure exactly what EBBA to use, call them, but try the TN first, okay?
Well, and point of clarification on that, the TN doesn't mean your transaction, it means your single agent with consent to transition if you need to. So it would cover both bases if you were going to do a resale after.
Yes, thank you, Mike. And he's gonna teach your house afterwards. Okay, and then now builders write one check. So when you get your paycheck from the builder, you need to make sure you do your DA and it'll come to the office and you'll pick up your checks. But builders are now moving to e-checks, so you're gonna get an email of your check. So make sure your email goes to Jennifer Rogers. So keep this email in your thing. So email your checks to Jennifer Rogers, your e-checks, and then she'll write a check out to you. Another thing, so the first 6 houses that I sold, I didn't know they were supposed to put in the MLS. So I did not get credit for it. Oopsie doopsie. So don't forget to take a picture of the front of the house, and it could be a stock picture of the model, and then put all the information you need on there to add it to the MLS, because they will not count it, so add it to the MLS. That's my mistake, you will not make the same mistake.
Question about that.
Yes,
How far, like, after it's retro, like, you go back and,
it's 30 days.
okay.
Yeah, I learned that after the fact, and I couldn't add any. So, yes, so make sure that's added.
Still got paid?
Huh?
Did you still get paid?
You still got
Yeah.
You get paid, you still get paid, but if you wanna show your MLS that you sold houses, you have to show,
That's not.
yeah, the statistics. To say, hey, you sold houses. Yeah, I did not know that. So, that was my first year, because I sold new houses consistently all the time my first year.
And make sure you take a picture of the front of the house.
Take a
You
picture,
have to have a picture, one picture.
and then all the roster information. Some builders do it, but I don't trust them now. I just go ahead and put it in. Okay. Okay, the next slide. Any questions so far? This is just have it in your back pocket,
And then
and just take it with you. Okay, where can you find new construction? Okay, so in the MLS, you can find them if it's in within 60 days, or like 60 days getting ready to be finished. You'll find a whole bunch of them on it. There's a lot of quick moving. And if you look on Zillow, it's probably the first 20 pages is all new construction. And that's where your client's looking at, new construction MLS. They do have the new home source on the MLS, but only certain builders are on there. So if you have a smaller builder, it's not gonna show. And on the new home source, it will even show you the stages of the houses, like if it's foundation, wood frame, all the way complete. And you can set up a search for that. So there is new home source. I also do Google, because as small builders, sometimes they don't have the funds to be able to advertise it or market it. So I just like look at the city I'm looking for and Google any new construction homes in this area. The next one is to register for all events that you see for grand openings. So when you walk into the builder's office, get their email and register for those events. They're gonna say open house, grand opening, trolley tour, sign up for them. That, I mean, you will get all the information before your buyers do, and you will become knowledgeable about the product. I always have at least 3 agents in every builder that I know, and I have their phone number. So you always like who you work with, so I always kind of test them with what they know. And I walk in there and introduce myself, and I have pictures of me and my baby walk into all the new builds. And they know me because I have a baby with me walking in. But make it personable, because you're able to handle a bad situation later because you had a relationship with them beforehand. So I always make sure I have 3 of them. They're in my back pocket. So if I'm going and doing tours and I'm like, you know what, I think I know a new house that will fit them, I call them up. I say, hey, do you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, around 300,000, ready to go? And they know I'm coming. And they're like, wow, she knows her stuff. During COVID, it was wonderful because I used that to be the next person to buy a house without bidding. Because I knew all the people already. They're like, oh, it was Dinah. She calls me every week to check to see if that house is available. She's a really good agent. If that one's available, they'll give me a heads up before anyone knows. Or they can't say it if there's going to be a canceled sale on a house, like let's say their finances phone didn't go through, they'll call me up, hey, or they'll call me up, hey, Dinah, I have a house that's available. Those are your best friends. So make sure you get to know.
Just to add to that, so any agent, but especially new agents, you may have a little more time because you may not be working with clients right now. I would recommend, go to these builders, make a friend, make a contact, have yourself that person that's a go-to. Obviously with D.R. Horton, Lennar, there's tons of different reps in these model centers. I have one from each that I go to. I know them, but there's the one that I always deal with.
Exactly.
Have that VIP status.
Because when they walk in, they're like, hey, rock star.
Yep.
And yeah, like, you don't need a cheerleading crowd. They are your cheerleader. Like, we love working with her. She just knows her stuff and makes it so much. So I literally I couldn't find a sitter, and the only time I had to pay for a sitter was to take my child with me to review these communities, and I got to know all of them. And then do it through Tuesday to Thursday, or if you do come on Friday, Saturday, I like to be a fly on the wall. Let's hear what they're saying to all the clients. Just kind of say, okay, she's telling me the rundown of how they do the process here, what elements, and so they don't have to teach it to me again. I'm just like listening, and I just write notes. I put it in my phone, saying, okay, this area, they do these things and these are the warranties. So when I'm ready, I just pull it out, it's on my phone, ready to go. So, any questions? Yes.
Do you ever have them try to circumvent you as the agent and?
Oh, that's the next question I was gonna say. When you have a relationship with them, I think it's on the next slide, they will try to cut you out. They won't, like, they try not to, they wanna talk to the buyer.
Oh yeah, that just happened to me. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah,
This is not
that's why
a
you have a
good
relationship
idea.
beforehand. But then I always say, my buyer gave me permission to have access to all the information you need. And the buyer's like, yes, please do. You still need to call the buyer, because they will get information to the buyer before they give it to you sometimes.
Yeah, I think I
Which
even,
builder? I'm not
Lennar.
our favorite friend.
Love them.
Yeah, yeah, I call the velvet hammer, sweet and kind, and then also you need those things.
Like I responded to them too, asking for something, and they've not come back to me.
No.
They'll probably-
You're gonna have to find, this is the job that you get to do as an agent, and this is how you show your value, is to get yourself in there. Nicely,
Yeah.
but get yourself in there. If you're assertive in a kind way, they will respond to you, and I bug them, they know I bug them. They even roll their eyes when they see me sometimes, because they're like, here she comes.
I did a new construction last year, and I found like the first 60 days, I didn't see any communication. And I was like, what's happening? So I reached out to my buyer, and I'm like, are you guys talking? He's like, oh yeah, we got things going. So I just told him, just CC me on everything. Because I explained to him, I said, the builder doesn't want to deal with me. They look at us as almost adversaries.
Yes.
I said, but if you include me, even if you told them to include me, they probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
But let's just stay in the loop. And then once I had that conversation,
It
everything
goes
was smooth.
so much.
And you reiterate with the builder person, say, hey, listen, I understand you've got your job to do, but I've got my job to do. I represent this person. And once you have that conversation with them, they're like, okay, this guy's okay.
Yeah, and that's why the relationship before, by visiting the builders ahead of time, they already know you, but they still do that, and I just say, hey, I'm on your side, and we're gonna work as a team, because we know this, because they're buying their first house. We've done 15 houses, or more than that, but I need to show them the process, and I can help you with this process by telling them the pros and cons of buying a house, so yes, please. Get in there. So, do you know that at least 49% consider either buying a new or a resale house? And if you've seen the market now, it's flooded with a lot of new construction. So make sure when you do your resale and your buyer consultation, you better include it, because they're gonna go look at that open house. They're gonna go look at those new houses and say, hey, and if you're not there, you don't get paid. So make sure you do that. So set an appointment. I always actually, sometimes if I have time, I even go there and preview it fast before they come there, just to kind of get an idea. But Tracy, they give you a call. I just got a call right now. I think I need to do more classes tonight, because today my phone has been blowing up.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do new construction. I'm ready to go. I'm like, okay, please, you need to register that, because they're going to go look at it. The house, I model mine, meaning I sit for the builder, and the builder doesn't have to do anything. They all come to they always just come in. Do you have an agent? So prep them by saying, here's my business cards. Here's a stack of them. So anytime you go visit a new construction, and I'm not there, you try to be the first one there. You just are browsing, tell them that you have an agent, and they staple it to it. Okay? Because when I model mine, if they don't have an agent, I get more for my commission. If they do have an agent, I get less. So make sure you have your business cards and hand it out to them. Any questions? And communication. Please, I have already called the person who's buying a multi-gen house 4 times this week. Just calling them. I call the builder, I call the clients, because they're nervous. I call them all the time. I take pictures every week. I do a video every week. I help my sales agent. If they send a picture, I send them a picture too. You know why? That gets me more clients, because then I post it online saying, hey, look at multi-gen, everyone's like liking it. Then they're like, guess what? I bought a new house. This is what it looks like. But they're not telling you that, and that's how I get my clients again. Okay, any questions so far? Okay. Pre-approval and budget is a definite must. These builders are nice, but lately they've been so aggressive. When you do a pre-approval, do it with your outside lender first. I use this as a backup, and I also use it to work things out. I had one builder or one client who works for themselves, that's basically a big state loan. He wanted a West Bay house. West Bay's high end, right? He could afford it. But then when I worked with my outside lender and we did the numbers, it was a Casa Fresca house. But my person from West Bay they were adamant, no, yeah, we got it. But remember, builder contracts are tight. So if something happens, they're gonna be keeping the money for any deposits. So, and my outside lender works out all the worms or anything ahead of time. You see it a mile ahead. So that's why it's very important to do your pre-approval beforehand, before you go to the builder. And then when you go to the builder, you're gonna also do a pre-approval. Yeah, with every builder. So make sure you do that. I actually used it during COVID for negotiating, because I was like, I can kind of say, this client here, this lender is gonna give me a better deal. And sometimes it is a better deal. I had one where it was Navy Federal, gave you another % off. So interest rate, so please use that. That's your negotiating. And it's also for backups for example, I had one person, she was a widow, my neighbor. She's only 35 years old, but she's doing life insurance, but the builder wouldn't honor it, so we had to do an outside lender. But then we could still use the incentives because it's a unique circumstance, and she could still buy the house. Any questions? So
Just be mindful too of your compliance requirements, because if they're dealing with the builder's lender, you may not see the pre-approval letter. You're 2 weeks away from closing on the new construction 3 months later, and now you're scrambling to meet your compliance requirements. So also things like earnest money deposits, it's not as clean and simple as other deals. So when you get into new construction, look at your compliance checklist and ask the right questions early on, because you don't want to feel foolish asking for something when they've been under contract for 4 months.
yes,
It's a lot easier when it's up front instead of,
Yes.
like Mike said, scrambling at the last minute. Just communicate up front.
Yes. So builders have in-house lenders that will give incentives, seller credit, design credit, and lower interest. And don't worry, don't let those numbers fool you, because they're like $25,000 seller credit. You're like, yay! But then the fees, Lennar has a 1% builder fee. Also, as a new construction, you pay more closing costs than it is a resale. So you're paying more money anyway, so they're not really covering that much. Basically, they're covering what you wouldn't have to pay on new construction. So make sure
No matter what.
those numbers are not numbering. It's not mathing. Watch those numbers. They may say it look big. Also, so in Utah, where I'm from, it's only a $5,000 deposit for buying a new construction house. It's very small. Here it's like a percentage of the home, like 10%, 5%. It's a bigger chunk. So sometimes a resale is a better option because you're only putting down closing costs and the escrow amount and lower resale one. But with new construction, it's a bigger thing. So make sure you prep your buyer for that. So if they need funds, they might have to get their funds somewhere else, but just prep them as a bigger deposit. And they may be additional deposits. So if they're building a home from scratch, like it's lot, the land, the floor plan and design, if it goes over a certain percentage, they're gonna be paying that certain percentage. No refunds. And I'm saying no refunds. 99.5, no refunds. Say that again several times. I've only had 3, and I think I even lost 1. One of them, they had $50,000 deposit. He decided against the house, but I already knew the builder. We had a good relationship. He did it for $50,000 credit. Then unfortunately, he lost his job. It's gone. But other builders, they kind of work with you, okay? Another one, it was a wording, because there's a building contract. I got the money because they said sold by contingent, and it was pending by. And this was for 2 sisters living next to each other. I got the money back, but it was a long process. But that contract is tight. It's like 30, 100 pages. Every community is different. I always preface this, I'm here to guide you through this process, but if there any point, I'm gonna also give you a number for an attorney to review, because these contracts are written very tight. So make sure they understand, not to scare them, you're just trying to give them the idea, because a lot of them are like, let's go buy a house, and you're like, wait a second, let me tell you about this. Okay, budget. So they have to understand that when they see it, the builders always market it from $300,000 from 400,000, and then you walk in there and you're like, how did I spend $600,000 on this house? So make sure you understand how the builder is done, because some like deer hoarding, they're like, just block houses, cookie cutter, they have everything included. But like Taylor Morrison and Pulte, then you have the lot premiums, then you have the floor plans, then you have the structural, then you have the design options, and by the time they make the price, it doubled from the beginning of it. So you have to give them a realistic view about that. And that doesn't even include taxes. So in Florida, our taxes are paid in the rear, meaning that the land is by itself, so it's the tax value for the land itself, right? And then after they build the house a year later, it's the land and the house together. So the value goes up. So when they're quoting taxes or estimate monthly mortgage payment, it may seem lower, but it's not really in 2 years, they're not gonna like you at all. I know deer hoarding got sued for it because they were giving lower numbers for it, and then it jumped. I had one client who had deer hoarding, but they also introduced new property taxes. Her payment went up $1,000. I just sat there and like, I already prepped her that it was gonna be more, but I didn't think 1,000 because I didn't know that they had passed new property taxes. So you have to make sure you are the resource, not source, right? Yeah, resource and not the source. So there is a place where you can go to the county to have it. You show them, you don't do it. You show them how to do the tax numbers for the future. That is going to be the payment. So basically when you budget and they're saying, I want to spend up to $300,000, my monthly mortgage, I want it for $2,400. Hold on, let's don't hit the top. Make room for at least 300 or 700 for the difference. Go ahead.
So what they're approving them for the house, they're using the wrong numbers because you're approving for a tax base of land, and then next year, like you said, it goes up 1,000.
Everyone wants to spend more money than they want, but at the same time, you want to be able to enjoy your house and enjoy your life. So make sure you save money. Go ahead.
So the tax thing has always confused me, but I dug in this last year, and it's really simple if you go into the counties and such as far as your portability and things, it's all right there. The bottom line is if you're looking at like a sale price of your house and you don't know what that assessed price is gonna be, just use 85%. Basically, that's gonna get you really close, and then you can model your tax on that. That seems to be, and be close. And always talk like approximately.
Approximately. Like big bold letters, circle it, make sure they sign, they understand it. You can also ask the builder, and they may give you, I think, or see if there's a recent sale or floor plan that's similar to that. So make sure, but it's gonna be a little bit different because if they did a homestead, if it's a VA, if it's portable, so make sure they understand it's different than that. So, also with CDD, future CDD, so and HOA. So on there, they usually sometimes say the HOA is this amount. But I've noticed they said the HOA is $45 until the community center is done, then it's $100. So you have to ask. Or for CDD, if it's a small community, they do the small, and then 3 years out, the community is double the size, and that's the new CDD. So I happened to be with one location, I was like, okay, they told us, and I even brought it up to this builder, I'm like, you did not tell me that it was gonna jump this high. So always find out how many number of homes are gonna be built in the community, so they know this might be the future of the CBD, which will go up. So when you're budgeting and doing your pre-approvals, make sure you explain during the buyer consultation that these numbers will go up, okay?
I didn't think CDDs could increase.
They can.
Depending on how they're formed. So back in the old days, CDDs really just covered like the infrastructure of building the community, the drainage, roads, all that stuff. They've since evolved to where now the CDDs cover all the amenity centers and things like that. So now the HOA may be $45 a quarter, but their CDD fee is now up, and those CDD fees will increase as the cost of running the facilities and the amenities go up, or they add new amenities as well.
So if we're adding a clubhouse, something like that, or let's say we're in phase 1 and now we're talking about phase 2, 3, 4, so that the property itself has also increased, would that change it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's also South Shore Bay, if you guys are familiar with that. There's a 55 plus area, then there's regular, so now Medley, they decided to buy their clubhouse. So that's increasing, there's a special assessment for that. So, be aware of, there may be a master association, a sub-association, a lagoon fee. So my parents live in Medley, they pay 2 monthly fees and 2 quarterly fees. And it's a nightmare trying to help them keep track of that.
So like Connerton, their CDDs, those can increase.
Yes.
And it's
Depends how they're written.
Yeah, they can, all of them can increase and go a little bit higher. Also, I just forgot the other one too. Membership fees, because I know True Rivers was gonna do a private area, so like, I even asked 3 agents. Like, I'm really like all over it to make sure they understand that.
Just note too, with the CDD, even though it says that it expires on such and such a date, they can renew them. They can go down,
Oh,
they can
right.
go up, they can go away.
Well, and it never goes away.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You know, a portion of it will, but you always still have the maintenance.
And then also the capital contribution fee is also a fee. And then remember that in the future, because you might sell that house in about 5 years, and then there's $1,000 contribution fee that you have to do, so.
And where are those written?
It's in the contract, the long length.
The new home contract or like
New
the?
home, new home, and then like future, you just have, you're gonna ask the homeowner, but the homeowner is gonna forget that, that's too much information, so you're gonna have to ask them, hey, do you remember paying this, or can you ask your HOA if you paid it?
It's also land premium, like when you resell it, you can't use that land.
Oh, no,
premium, right?
It's, yeah, no, it's not, so the builder makes money on location, size, and lots and stuff like that, but it's not, I mean, I guess it's a value later on, a value, but not a price tag, like if you see one with Pondview, a lot of people like that, or on Constellation, this is personal.
Right. They'll add like an extra 30 grand, but when it's time to resell, you can't
No,
add
you don't
that 30
figure it
grand
out.
to your house because
Yeah.
like you won't sell it.
No. And then builder fees, I know Lennar has the 1%, you can't negotiate it out, this is kind of it. Okay, so a lot of them wanna buy furniture because they have a new house, don't let them do that, because you will lose it.
Yep.
You will lose it. I had one client, because she had the money, but I walked in her garage, Amazon was built in the garage, I was sitting there quietly like, what? Oh yeah, I got everything, just put it in your wish list, don't press send, they're watching their credit, because they do it at the time of being pre-approved, and a week or 2 before they close, they look at it for jobs and everything like that. Also about don't buy a car, and I know they want to buy appliances, so famous tape, you can put a small deposit down for the refrigerator, washer, and dryer, and then you can have it delivered after closing, and then pay for it after closing, so that you can buy your appliances and not,
Be very
Don't-
clear about that.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of issues with that as well.
Yeah.
People, oh, I went and bought this, I'm like,
no, this day, before you buy anything big, talk to me.
yeah,
Or
no
talk to
roses
me.
till it closes.
Yeah.
And that doesn't apply to just new construction, that's just all
Yeah.
buyers.
Yes.
I even had to tell buyers, don't quit your job.
Yes, yes.
Because one did, right before they moved down to Tampa, and I said, call your boss back, tell him you didn't mean to quit, no, explain the situation. The boss let him kind of stay on for another week or 2, but yeah, you gotta tell him all these things.
Yes.
Don't quit your job,
Yes.
don't get new credit, don't buy furniture, don't buy a
Yes.
car, don't go on these big trips.
Yeah, just smile at your house right now, if that's empty, and you're gonna get the house in the moment, so don't do it. Okay, next one. Okay, builder contracts. Builder contracts, okay. So be extra sensitive about the buy down and rate lock, because you know a lot of them are doing like 3.99, 4.99. Find out if it's permanent or sensitive, because permanent or tentative, because some of them have to close at a certain time. So the builder buys a whole bunch of low interest rates, and they have to close at a certain time. So when you go under contract, ask them, is this a permanent one, or does it have to close at a certain date? Because that interest rate is what they got pre-approved for, so you want to make sure that number still sticks all the way through. And they have 3-2-1 buy down, they have the 5-year one, they have different kinds, so make sure you're very, and sometimes I need to speak to the lender, but the lender won't talk to me, so I ask the buyer, because they have no idea what the terms mean, so I'm like, I'm not asking personal stuff, but I just want to explain it to my buyer, what you're doing, so that they understand it. It's not almost like we're translating the same language, but in home buying sense, so. Pricing, so when you look at your contract, look out for the appraisal gaps, and I have to say, be more cautious about it now. So appraisal gaps is basically if they bought a house for 500,000, like later, someone bought a house for 500,000, right? And then they did the appraisal again, and now the house is worth 450. They're on the hook for that $50,000 difference. So whenever someone goes under contract or get close to it, I ask, what did that house recently close for in the past month and a half, or closer to the time that I'm getting ready? I check it at the beginning when I get ready to go under contract and towards the end, because they are on the hook for that difference. But you can negotiate it, small percentage that they're on the hook. So the market is changing right now, so there's a lot of quick moving. So if somebody has been building their house from the ground up, that value changed, maybe. So just watch it for the appraisal gaps, because they are on the hook for that, yes.
So I noticed, like, if there, there's one sold this exact model last month and let's say they paid 400 for it. Well, then they're offering the same model now with incentives for like 350. So
You lock in, right?
You're yeah.
You lock in.
so the person that locked in at 400 stuck there, and their neighbor, that can't be good for the builders.
Oh, it's not good for the builders or for us for even
Yeah.
resale. That's why I say watch those numbers, because when I go in a community and I'm driving by and I see available, I'm gonna have to watch those numbers a little bit carefully when I go in under contract. So don't have them run. Sometimes it makes sense. It's case by case. It makes sense for some of the buyers buy it, some are not. So make sure you watch it, especially right now. I'm watching the appraisal gaps. I'm watching everything, like this extra eye to it.
And it's also, remember, as you said earlier, they say the home's starting from $375. So builders will offer $50,000 in upgrades, versus reducing the price of the base home.
Yes, very true, very true. Also, understand that they have 2 years to complete the home. Please tell your buyers that there's not a fine deadline to say the house will be done April 12th. During COVID, they basically said the house will be done this spring. When is spring? Please make sure they understand that they have a backup plan, that if the house is delayed, and a backup plan if the house is done early. Because I know some people who buy it or in a lease and they have to cancel it, because if you don't close on that day, you're charged every single day that it doesn't close. So when you're reading the contract, you're looking at the buy down, you're looking at the seller credit, like you're reading through it, you're finding out about the appraisal gaps, you're understanding that there is a 2 years to build the house and that they can move in early or can move in late, and there is X amount of day. Their builder's not responsible for paying the lease if it breaks or anything like that. So I always have the sales agent explain the contract. I do not do it. I have them explain it, and I plan for 1 hour. I'm like, you're gonna explain it for 1 hour. And I write notes. I only write notes for myself, but it's 1 hour to do it. Do not hurry through this, because when they have problems, they're like, but I'm like, it says it in the contract. So if they want to do structural changes, like let's say they love the house and they're like, oh no, I didn't like that carpet, $150 every single time that they change something. Okay, make sure they know that.
Delays will be common. She said COVID,
Yeah.
especially when there's like natural disasters, things like that, hurricanes, shortages of cabinets,
Windows,
shortages of windows, right?
ACs, refrigerators, drywall,
Those will
wood
hold things up.
frame. I even ask, even now, is there any delays? And I keep on asking. I ask 100 questions, and I even asked at the same time if I closed last week. Something can change.
So I also saw there's like the drywall, when there was the drywall shortage during COVID, it said like the owners had to fill out a defective drywall.
Oh, that's Chinese drywall, right? Or the other?
It's defective drywall.
Defective drywall. That was a long time
That's
ago.
going back to like 05, 06,
Yeah.
2010.
This was during COVID, like this is a 4-year.
So that might have just been a shortage. Maybe they were just
Yeah.
short on
Yeah.
supplies, supply houses, et
So I
cetera.
just wondered if you'd had any experience with reselling something that was sold or built during COVID.
No. Oh, yeah, I've had a lot. A lot of structural changes. It says in the contract, if they have brown carpet, and let's say that brown carpet is not there, but they love the house with the brown carpet, they can change it to similar brown carpet.
Yeah.
If they have, remember the model home was built 2 years beforehand, so that countertop color may not be the one that's ready to produce now.
Right.
You can see walls, like Lennar bought, Catalantic homes, so when I looked at the model home, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it's gonna be. That's not the case. They put drywall, they moved windows, made windows smaller, so make sure when you look at the model home, you go across the street to see a house that's recently being built with those things. Uh-huh.
So you did explain if the house is built longer time that they actually promise. What happened when they make it sooner? When the house
You
is
have to
ready
close
sooner?
still.
I know, and then now your clients have to break a lease and pay a penalty.
That's why you tell them ahead of time.
So there's nothing that they make adjustment.
It says in the contract. Yeah.
It's not gonna be real common to be done early. It's gonna be done on time or it's gonna be done later.
Mine actually.
December.
Yours was early? Yeah.
December is the month that they
Yeah,
want
they wanna
to
rush it,
get
yeah.
early. They
Yeah,
want to
okay, I
get
can see
before the
that.
end of the thing. So December, they're gonna be buying a house in December.
That
They're
makes
not going
4
January.
months early.
Yeah, and some February and March, whenever the quarter is getting tighter, oh yeah, they'll magically that house comes all together. So yes.
That's
it can-
concerning in itself.
Yeah, so if you're October, November, December, and you're probably going for February, oh yeah, it can close early. I've had it several times. I'm like, I'm coming every week, and I'm like, oh, the grass went in. When the grass goes in, the flooring's going in.
Yep.
When I see cabinets, it's 60 days out. When I see like I already know it's coming.
Yep.
And then if I see a lot of them in a row, I'm like, you prepare yourself, it's coming. That's why you check it, and you learn that way on
It
that
would
too.
be better if they close January for the tax purpose.
No,
Yeah, no, it's December you want to close.
no,
it.
December.
And also you might have to have more money in escrow.
Sorry?
You might have to have more money in escrow if it closes in January. So yes, please watch out for that. And you can't terminate the contract because you changed your mind. Miranda, right, Tracy? 20% for the purchase price. Yeah.
It's criminal.
So don't say, oh, I wanna change my mind. No, that's not gonna be the. Ask specific questions about a financing denial, like if they do lose your job, or, like contingent on the house of the, make sure it's in the contract. Don't assume that, oh, because she talks about it. No. You have to make sure it's in the contract, or get an addendum saying, hey, we cannot purchase this house unless I sell my house.
And you keep mentioning it, make sure it's in the contract. They may not send you a copy of the contract. You may get something from them signing off as the buyer's agent, and you think that's fine. But the contract then has to go to corporate, that gets signed and gets sent back to the buyer. Again, for compliance, you're gonna need the fully executed contract, but you wanna have it in case your client's freaking out because they wanna close early, or they wanna, or they're delayed or whatever. You wanna be able to have that document in front, point out something, maybe calm them down a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Any questions so far? Yeah. Okay.
So, as she was mentioning with my clients having Miranda, and I asked all of these questions because they have a home to sell and they wanted to purchase. They do not want to write a contingent contract. So my clients, we talked through everything and they didn't feel pressured, and sometimes clients will, they're like, oh no, I want to sign because I want that home, and after talking, I had to make sure, understand that you could lose your deposit and you're on the hook for 20% if everything falls through. So that, of course, made them slow down and kind of wait, so they decided to just pull away. I kept in contact with the agent, and because of that, she came back and said, oh, well, Miranda decided to do a one-off, and they will do a contingent contract now. So even though they say they will not, there are some instances where they will go back. She talked to her manager, and we got an addendum written. And the addendum, I read through everything, and I made sure that it was clear that they were not gonna lose their deposit, and that it was without penalty prior to the start of construction. So if you talk to them, they will, and sometimes it's a hard no, but sometimes, it's, my client was just kind of like, they're like lost and wanting to just buy the home. But had I not been talking with Dinah and paying attention to the things that she was sharing, they could have been in a spot where they could have lost a lot of money. Thankfully, we got the home under contract and now we're clear, but that addendum was added because we
You know that the builder contracts are really one-sided, they're not for you or the client. You have to understand there is legal and dispute resolutions, like, you know, how you read in Venice and bottle, it gives you like 50 other things that you can't do, that's what it does. There's pros and cons about buying new construction, like especially those people who bought about 2 years ago during that time of COVID. They had bidding systems and then you had to buy a design package over $150,000. So when you're trying to sell them, you're gonna have to make sure that they understand if there's a community that they are just moving into and they have 3 years of building, they're not getting that $50,000 back on it. So I know job changes, but just kind of tell them that's part. Remember, you are an educator about your consultant as a real estate agent. So that's the resale market risk of buying a new construction home. Warranties. So I've noticed that warranties have been changing a lot. They always do the first year warranty on all the house except cosmetics. So not like countertops or cabinets or anything like that. And the client can have an 8-month, I say 8 to 10 months because it takes a while to get all the vendors and trades to come to the house, an inspection so that they can fix all those things. But sometimes they only do it one time. Like if there's a crack on the floor, you always wait till the 8th month and have all the cracks fixed on the floor at the same time. Plumbing and electrical, so I've noticed that's been changing. Usually that was 2 years, but now they've been doing only 1 year. So when I go to builders, I ask the same questions over again, even if I just asked them last week. I ask them, any changes? What's the warranty on plumbing? Sometimes they void warranties if they, like let's say you want to do it yourself and try to fix it, they may void the warranty for plumbing. So ask another book of what voids the warranty, what, you know, is included on it. I use warranties as a way to connect with my clients again. Say, after you move in, I'm sure you're so excited about moving into your home. Okay, I have a few things that I can keep on bugging you about. Kindly say yes or no if you haven't done it. I'm just doing a friendly reminder. 1, have you filed your homestead? And in order for you to file your homestead, you need to change your driver's license to your new address and then go over and do it online. So I'll send it to you. Once you do it, tell me you did it. But don't tell me you did when you didn't do it because you're going to be paying a little bit more. So I say that, or portable tax. The next thing is register all their appliances. So if they have appliances or if they bought appliances, if you take a QR shot and take a picture of it, I will register the appliances. So anything that happens with appliances, it gets fixed by GE, Kenmore, whatever. The builder does not touch appliances. Except like the water heater, yes, but still make sure it's registered within 5 days. So I call them up, hey, I'm glad you moved in. Can you do me a quick thing? Can you go register all your appliances? This is really important about your AC. The AC has 1 full year warranty and has up to a 10-year limited warranty, which I just recently knew is $1,000 during Christmas because it only covers, it covered part of the parts and labor, but I didn't have to do the whole big deal because I registered my AC. As long as they see that you've been maintaining your AC and taking care of it. So make sure, so I always call them, hey, and sometimes I noticed lately it's either the person who installed it put the warranty in or the carrier, like carrier AC appliances too. When you do the warranty, make sure you teach the client how to put in a warranty claim. Because once they close that on their house, you want to be involved, but not really involved. So you kind of tell them the process. Hey, find out what the process is about fixing it. Because anything that goes on with the house, they always blame you. So might as well teach them how to do it. Hey, you know, this broke it. Okay, do you know how to do the warranty claim? Let's reach out to people who can do it for you. So, and warranty versus home insurance. To go back again a little bit about assessments. So in a new community, after the hurricane went through, everyone was given an assessment because they did not have enough money in their budget to fix the things that needed to be done. So please tell the new communities they don't have their budget ready to make sure they have prepared themselves if they have to do it. Also during that time, I had some people who were able to cover some of their things under warranty because like the siding came off, but the siding came off because of workmanship, and some of them couldn't and they had to do an insurance claim. So find out which one it goes to, either insurance or okay, so I learned really quickly about inspections. When I purchased my home, I wanted to do an inspection because I was getting frustrated, and my agent was also new, and I was learning about it. And I tried to do an inspection, and the agent's like, yeah, you can do it. And then I paid for my inspector, and then when he got there, oh, you can't do it because in the contract, you're supposed to tell me ahead of time when you're supposed to have an inspector. So $400 went down the drain, and I couldn't do it. So make sure you read when you can do an inspection and how they do inspections. Some of them require that they have to be checked by corporate. So once you go under contract, I always say, okay, here's the 3 inspectors. Which one would you like to choose? And once you choose one, let me know, and I'm gonna talk to the builder, and I'm gonna make sure that they connect with the inspector to make sure all the paperwork is in for their insurance and everything that's needed, so that they have that. Okay, so make sure they do it, and there's usually a timeline to do it. This is very confusing when I explain it, so I'm gonna go really slow on this part. One is slab. So if you're building from the ground up, slab, you can do 5 inspections, probably 2 of them probably really important if they were because it's a charge each time they do it. Slab is to make sure that all the piping and everything is in the right places, like the shower is here, the washer and dryer is here, that's the slab, okay? The second one is pre-drywall. And during COVID, I did this a lot because a lot of the houses were sitting outside for such a long time that it rained so much that it was soggy wood, and then they started to rot. So, pre-drywall, they usually schedule a time for you to meet with the construction manager, and you can take pictures of behind the wall. So if they want to do a project later on, they know not to put a big TV right here because there's a pipe going down, or there's a wire or ducting. So you can do a pre-drywall inspection. Usually you want to do the pre-drywall inspection before your pre-drywall meeting, so that when you have your inspection ahead of time, you take those notes and bring it at your meeting, so they can go over, hey, they said this part is not right, can you make sure it's addressed? So pre-drywall. I had one, the engineering was wrong, they had to do it 3 times. So do an inspection. The builders or then code enforcers, they just go really quickly. They're not looking at it as if it was their house. So that's worth it. Then another inspection is the one right before closing. Please do this one. If they can't afford anything else, do this one. Because you want to work out anything that needs to be done before closing. They won't let you delay closing. So make sure you do that, and that's when they do the blue tape and green tape drywall. Like blue tape is for all the paint things, green is for all the drywall things that need to be fixed. And then usually have your inspection ahead of time, that you bring in that to your new home orientation. Some builders let you do it 2 weeks beforehand, and some people do it the same day. So make sure you find out what way they do it. Is it a week beforehand or the same day? You schedule it. Definitely do an inspection. $400 can save you so much money. They're building the houses so quickly, it's not perfect, so make sure you do that. The day of closing, so when you have that inspection list and then you told them things that need to be done, most construction managers get paid on how well it's done, so they don't want to write that many things down. So you want to bring that with you and then do your final walkthrough and to make sure those things are done and say, hey, these, and I usually take a picture of the punch list and email it to the customer and the builder, construction manager, and the sales agent saying, these items were not done. Okay, but you can't delay closing. You still have to move forward. So I try to be the squeaky wheel beforehand, so after inspection, in between that time, I'm already asking, have these items been done? There are some cases where like windows need to be ordered, cabinets need to be ordered, that will be done after closing, because they can't throw in a cabinet real quickly. So the first 2 weeks of moving into your house might be a little crazy because you have a lot of people coming in fixing items. Okay, and then 8 to 10 months beforehand, you want to do your inspection before the end of the year. Okay, never assume, always ask questions. I seriously, I ask questions like my little kid. What about this? What about that? What about this? So you always ask which prices included, what things can be done after building. When they're building a house from scratch, I always say go into a builder's place, it's like going to a candy shop. You're gonna get excited about everything. Keep it to 4 things. You wanna do your flooring, your cabinets, your countertops, your lighting, and that is it. everything you can do after closing, if they're on a budget. The reason being is when you look at the backsplash, you can get at 400 pour for about $400, or you're gonna be paying $1,000. So make sure you are keeping them in budget, because when they walk in that, why, what this? I'm like, no, don't do that. So I always say, okay, when you do a Pinterest board, I know the ladies are into it, but do a Pinterest board, and I always give them two choices, like the same color of love, like they charge you according to the level of the product. So level 1 is the basic, and it goes up to level 7. So I always say, let's pick a level 2 flooring and level 5 flooring. And when we're doing our numbers at the end, we're gonna go back to number 2, and that saves us money. The flooring, they get you because they only do the wet areas, and once you add more to it, it goes up. So I'm like, flooring, everyone wants that one piece, so that's why it's more expensive. Cabinets, everyone now has the in-trash things and stackables, that's a pretty penny. I always do the kitchen and the primary bathroom, and the rest of it, I just do basic. You can make it look nice without spending a lot of money. Countertops, the same thing, levels on it. Lighting, when you walk into a builder's model home, there's gonna have 10 to 12 lightings all around. But then when you go in, they sell it as a package. So when I go into a model home and they pick that house, I go through it and I count how many lights there is in each room. And some don't include lights. So you need to make sure those are things, or towel bars, or towel. So I always walk across the street, what's not gonna be there? And to make sure that is blinds, towel racks. For negotiating, I know we're close to our time here. To negotiate, or a little over. So negotiating, this is where you shine. It's not price cuts, it's seller credit. You can only go up to 6%. It's design packages. That's how you show you can do it. Or adding appliances. It's not really, you can't really, like if you go to your Horton, that's the price. If you go to Taylor Morrison, you maybe can throw in some blinds. And blinds are expensive because some of them don't come with blinds, less than $1,000. So that's how, sorry. Next time, I'll talk more about negotiating. But feel free to call me. I'm always available. Ask Tracy and other people, just give me a call. And if I can't pick up right then, I'll pick up later on, and I'll answer your question. And I want to only know the outcome afterwards. That helps me. They drop it out, and they're like, okay, what happened? So, okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dinah. All right, so go out and get some new construction buildings, absolutely. Folks, we do have lunch. Just one moment before we go. So Mike Hydorn is here. He's going to be here going over EBBA. What else, Mike?
The new buyer, KW buyer disclosure.
Okay. And I think you said any questions they have, just bring them along. So Mike's going to be here, 12 to 1, working lunch. So in a moment, we'll break, go get some lunch. Anyone that can be here at 1 o'clock, we have Dawn from Rock Solid Inspections. If you can be here for that, that'd be great as well. She's going to be going inspections, things that are going on with 4 points, citizen changes.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with the updates to the 4 point, you want to be in on that because you can prevent yourself a lot of headache and the client a lot of headache, and depending on which side you're on, if you understand what's on the new 4 point, because it has changed.
Dawn's great. That's 1 o'clock. Thank you all. Lunch is over there. Have a great day, guys.